Should be fun. Oh, damn. It broke here too? This is how I broke my 180-gallon glass aquarium twice. I just got back from my trip to India where I was documenting their local aquarium hobby. We did a meetup, I toured an aquarium gallery, fish stores, outdoor aquarium markets, fish farms, fish nurseries, fish room tours, and even private collections. But the whole time I was there, I couldn't stop thinking about one thing. It's what happened the day before I left. All the tanks showed up! So as soon as I got home, I had to start ripping apart all the old aquariums to set up something amazing. I started with the first 8 feet of the old aquarium rack and removed all the equipment. You'll notice that there's a bunch of sponge filters in with the Oscars, and that's simply just to keep them cycled. I took them out and put them with the flower horns for now, because I gotta take these tanks apart. Then slowly started to remove all the hardscape from the ropefish tank as well as the Oscar tank. Notice that these are pretty dirty because I'm taking them apart anyways, and I'm technically only saving the plants from the ropefish tank. These tanks are technically being totally shut down. And I can't see any of them. Oh, they're over here. There's one. Unfortunately, one jumped, so I'll put them over there. This is where I put all these guys. I put that tank here for now. I like it there. Give me the rack. So one. Can you help me count?
1.
Here's another one.
2.
Yeah, these guys are getting put on size. 2. I drained too much water. I can't see them. I might have to put more in. I think I'm gonna have to do this by hand. That'll make more sense that way.
Like to catch them?
Yeah. Ooh.
Are they slimy?
No. Well, yeah. They're called the velvet cichlid because their scales are so small, so when you grab them, they're gonna feel incredibly slimy. However, their dorsal spines, which is what all cichlids have, will stab your hand. Look, I'm bleeding.
Oh.
My little 2-inch Oscar. How many was that? 3?
2. Wait. Now I don't know.
Oh.
I thought it was 2.
You had one job.
I know.
I'm pretty sure it was 3. 2 by net and 1 by hand. I think there's 2 right here. Yeah. Oscars are so good at camouflage.
So
2 in
that's
here. Yeah. So that should be 5. Sucks that when I got home from India, I was feeding everybody, and I forgot to put their lid on, and these guys are such aggressive eaters that one likely jumped out. The unfortunate thing is he was still like moist and didn't seem like dead or anything, so I put him back in the water, but he was gone. So he would have jumped out that morning or something, looking for something to eat.
One of the times when I was feeding them, one of them caught my finger and like came out of the water for a second.
6. Three more. The downside is like I'm never going to be able to get these guys down. They're so seasonal, wild caughts. Yeah, I took out too much water. I should have ripped the plants out, but this whole tank is done. Where's he flopping? Oh, right there. There's 2 more right here. I'm not doing it by hand again. How many was that?
6.
7, 8. So 1 more in there somewhere. Where? I don't know, but the best thing you can do is kind of just poke around and wait for a fish to flop. Oh!
Found him.
Yeah. Now, I think this is 9, however, just in case I'm wrong. It's not very often that I'm wrong, but just in case I'm wrong. And my wife is right. I will look around.
You'll know as soon as you watch the video back.
Well, I don't have time for that. This is the same thing. Well, we've seen fish disappear before, and then no, that was it. Yeah, these are relatively healthy plants, but I have so, damn it, maybe I should keep them, because this is a really good sort. It's just got a lot of hair algae on it. There's nothing stopping me from just pulling them out, rinsing them off. Swords are not cheap, and mine are established for my water, so I might as well keep them. I'm just gonna have to rinse them in tap water, because this is not a plant. This is all like hair algae.
Yeah, I wound some up on my hand from that tank when you were gone, but I didn't know if you were going to be using it for content, like cleaning it, so I only did a little.
Ugh. I gotta save all these round rocks, and I can't tell anybody why. Do you want to know why?
I'd like to know now. Now I'm curious.
So, this tank here is going to be the Oscars. The middle tank, I can't tell anybody. I can't even tell you.
Oh.
And then the end tank is going to be the Tropheus. The middle tank. These are all displays, by the way. And I think it's fair. Like South America, is it? Yeah, electric eel, South America. And I can't say what's in the middle. And then on the end is a Lake Tanganyika, and then underneath is a 775, underneath is a 75, on the other end there a bunch of 15s, on that wall is a bunch of 75s, 375 there, 2,000, 700, and then see how beautiful that fits? Well, the wall is crazy because what happened here is there used to be a rack, and then I developed a leak and didn't fix it, and I think I was like pushing my back against it to pick something up like I always do all by myself, and my back went through it here, and then this is just like rotted drywall. But 9 years of this amount of water and humidity
Moisture.
is, yeah, in Canada, it's bound to happen. I think that's it for fish though. I'm just gonna, but everything else in this tank I don't need. The plants, everything, because I'm taking a bunch from the 700 and I'm taking a bunch from the piranha tank. In fact, every plant from the piranha tank, or sorry, the Asian arowana tank, because he's going back to the way I keep arowana, Asian arowana, bare bottom. See, now that I've rinsed them off, see the color on them? And they look good. The number one indicator if the plant's healthy, we can rip off dead leaves or whatever, is always going to be the roots. So long as they're not mushy and they're still white once you rinse them off, they're good. So I'm just going to float them in here. And now I have some Amazon swords for another tank. Because all of a sudden I'm great at growing plants. 25 years into it, and only the last couple of years, well, thanks to my wife, who's just said, I don't know what I do, I just don't touch it. I just don't touch my planted tanks, and they just grow. Okay, I'll do that.
Tamara's leaf
Boom!
method.
Yeah, the Tamara Joe Mullen method. I don't know if you guys can hear my electric eel, but it sounds like a slow fart over there. To cut this off the wall. So after ripping apart a portion of the old rack big enough to fit in the new 180-gallon system, which is technically going to be for my electric eel, it's not for the Oscars, I don't know why I misspoke earlier. However, this is when I noticed the bottom of the 180-gallon aquarium was cracked. I think I did it when I was moving it off its like miniature stand on the floor, and maybe it just hit the ground a little too hard. Because it was previously fine, didn't leak. I've been using these tanks for a couple of years now. The benefit of having the bottom panel cracked on a tank like this is simple. They're not really responsible for the structural integrity of the tank so long as I brace the entire bottom completely. So, all I gotta do is kind of patch it up so water doesn't leak through the cracks. I took apart an older, small beta tank, removed all of the silicone from the area that this new piece of glass was going to patch, and used lots of silicone, pressed it in place. I then started thinking, well, the trim probably should come off, and I'll tell you why. This is the trim that goes on it. It's not structurally important. It's literally trim. It's just for aesthetics, meaning it's just there for it to kind of look good. Like right here, you see the top? Now this used to be on the bottom. The problem with this is it's got about, what, a 2 millimeter lip, meaning that even if I support the bottom entirely and completely, the panel's kind of lifted up a little bit off of the sponge that this is going to sit on. And it probably would just absorb into the sponge, but I wanted to be 100% sure, so I just popped it off so that the glass can sit absolutely, completely, and totally flat. Waited a couple days for the silicone to completely cure, and then put it up on its stand. I'll finish it up. Thanks, buddy. Damn! One big tank. Now, hopefully it don't leak. It cracks before. I was trying to move myself. It's done. Right here. Should be fine. Oh, damn. It broke here, too? Shit, this corner's busted, too. And that is when I noticed it was cracked again. Cracked in 2 places. Got some more glass, patched that, and waited a couple of days. Now it's time to start setting this tank up. I could wait to make sure that it holds water, but that would be the smart thing to do. This was in a tank before, and I think it was like this. I'm thinking about putting it this way though, just for something a little slightly different. I don't think I'm gonna put anything else in the tank either. Just some substrate. Yeah, that looks good. Then we take one of these lights. I think I'm just gonna do a 4-foot one. Tank looks so big now, doesn't it? I should test fill this before I put substrate in it. Looks good. Looks like it'll hold water. I mean, almost guarantee it's gonna hold water, so I'm not too stressed. But let's give it a test fill, and if it's good, I can just dump the substrate in. The substrate I already got. So we got just number 20 pool filter sand. It's got a new packaging, high capacity filtration. I've never seen this packaging before, but just feeling it, it feels a little bit like a bit of a thicker grain, so I don't know if I'm gonna like this stuff or not. It says it's filtration, natural sand. It'll be interesting to see what it looks like once I open it up though. So in the tank right now is a mix of fine sand and, you know, a bit of a coarse gravel, kind of a natural look. Now, I couldn't wait to open up the pool filtration sand. I had to see what it looked like. Hey, what's up, baby? Check this out. You've never seen pool filter sand that looks like this. It's a super fine grain, relatively the same color like gravel. It's not very coarse to the hand, so this could be perfect no matter what, and far more natural looking than the pool filter sand. Look, it's literally, oh, natural sand? Filter, natural sand. Technically, who calls this a sand, but it's literally pool filter sand. I'm gonna use it anyway. Definitely. Interesting stuff. I gotta go get a bunch more bags because isn't this the perfect substrate for aquariums? Or the grain size for aquariums as well as even planted tanks. Love it. Definitely gotta rinse this before we use it because it's pretty dusty and dirty. This is 50 pounds of it. It almost looks like kitty litter. But it will be inert, meaning it's not going to have any effect on the water parameters from leaching items like calcium and whatnot. So, yeah, look at that. That's a beautiful color. Very natural looking. Actually, it's not even that dirty. You want to know how dirty substrate is, grab a handful of it and see what kind of like rolls off your hand for dust and whatnot. But the easiest thing to do is just toss this in your hose outside in a bucket or a tote like this, fill it up and let it overflow, and then swish your hands around and all the dirty water flows over. Give it a second. Once it gets to the top here, we're just going to keep mixing it up. Look how clean this stuff is. I know it looks murky right now, but this is actually really good considering it's 50 pounds of substrate. I'm guessing it comes pre-rinsed. This is going to almost be enough. Now, because the tote is tilted, once this fills up, I could just be lazy and let it run off of the side until it runs off clear, but that's kind of wasteful. So another option is just pour out the water. Again, still a little bit dirty. Man, this stuff is really cool looking. Look at that. You can't get any more natural looking than this. Tell me that's not the best substrate you've ever seen. 50 pounds, $7. I usually pay like $70, $80 for this stuff. I love the grain size. Obsessed with it. That's perfect. Yeah, it looks like it belongs in it. Well, obviously sand and almost like clay sand would be more natural, but this is still pretty cool. So now this 180-gallon aquarium is set up. The first thing I want to talk about, though, or at least say, it's the perfect height. Very rarely do you get to stand in front of your aquarium and it's like you're sitting in front of it, because this is quite high up. It's a little over 6 feet. Obviously, I got to get up on a stool or something to access the top, but that's no issue at all. I'm in love with how tall this is. You see, I'm doing a lot of things right now that we're going to talk about here in a second and why I'm doing this in the first place, but let's just kind of document what this even is. So some do-it-yourself lids on top. I got to kind of fix them up. A Finex light that's going to make the tank look amazing. 3D background. That's that pool filter sand. Incredible. Now, this is a 2x6 base. We typically use them on all of our 180s. In fact, the Electric Eel Aquarium has a system just like this. He's got his cinder blocks, 2x6, 3/4 inch plywood, sponge on top of that, and then the 180-gallon system sits on top of all of this. Basically, that's what this is. It's just 8 inches taller than the Eel's current aquarium. You'll also notice that, you know, this isn't painted, that's not painted. This doesn't have a trim, and that's showing. And you're probably going to think, like, are you going to paint it? Are you going to make it look nice? No. I'm going to cover all of this, besides here, and I'll tell you what's going on in here in a second, all of this with fake rock, all on the fronts and sides, kind of making it look like the tank is sitting on this massive rock. And I'm going to do the whole rack. And I might even do the walls, like behind it. I want this to look like, you know, the rest of the gallery. But below the tank is this big open area. This filter is going to go over here. It's technically its space. But right here, I'm putting a 75-gallon in there. It's 8 inches off the ground, but in total, it's going to stand almost 3 feet. Well, 2.5 feet with the 75. 180 above, 75 below. Over here as well, 180, and another 180 beside it with a 75 below it, and then a bunch of 15s below the final one. So that's a 180, that's got to come up. That's a 180, that's got to come over here. All on the same stands, all on the same height. 75 here, a 75 there, and a bunch of 15s under there. So a bunch of gallery displays type tanks that, you know, I really like doing and you guys really enjoy. I still got to finish filling this up, but obviously the hose is in there. I shut it off so I can make this video for you. Below 75s, maybe it's for smaller fish. Maybe it's also a display tank. Once we get all the rock and stuff, it'll look actually good. It kind of looks horrible right now, but once it's set up, maybe this is kind of like a display as well, but just smaller from a 180. Who doesn't want a bunch of different sizes? I do. And all the 15s for holding shrimp, smaller things like that. Right here is going to be the 375. This is coming over here and being a room divider like it originally was. It's still going to house the Asian arowana, except no background, nothing like that. You'll be able to walk around the whole thing and the Asian arowana will be able to see from all corners. Now that wall is going to be a rack of 75s that I think I'm going to do breeding in. Now, you're probably thinking, wow, you're going to have your Asian arowana, you're going to have this rack of displays, you're going to have, obviously, the Asian arowana, which is the original reason I built this tank in the first place. We'll have the piranha tank. We're going to have, and don't look around, it's disgusting out here. We're going to have my massive 700-gallon planted tank. And you're probably thinking, damn, Joey, that's a lot of different things. And I just have to be honest with you, abundantly honest with you. Yeah. Every time I travel, and I've gone all over North America and even India, everywhere over the past couple of years, and every time I come home to the aquarium gallery, all I think about is like, damn, I wish I had a breeding system, or hey, I wish I had holding tanks, or I had a better, more functioning quarantine system. I like to have my monster tanks. I like to have my gallery displays. I want to have a little bit of everything. I just want it to all look good and be functional. And that's what we're doing right now. That's why I'm doing all of this. I want a little bit of everything. I want to, outside of making the videos, I want to actually enjoy the aquarium gallery as the hobbyist that I am and fish keeper that I am, which is somebody that likes to do a little bit of everything. Most importantly, I like to come out and tinker with my tanks, and I'm getting bored of just setting up new ones. That's fun. New tank, new fish, new tank, new fish. That's fun, but it's not going to be as fun as what we're going to be doing moving forward. And I'm really excited about that. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you do. You're going to miss all of those videos. Anyways, back to work. I'm going to wait probably another day. This filter's for the 75. I might move a 75 out here shortly, get that up and running. But this is running off the FX. And it already is cycled, but I'm just going to let it run for maybe a few more hours before I move the electric eel to it. I'm not so sure I'm going to raise the water level immediately because he does get a little jumpy in new tanks. But that's it. This tank is ready to rock and roll. The middle tank is going to be a tank that everybody wants. I'm going to move this too. Today I think I'm going to move all of this and probably build another stand for that and maybe get that over here as well. We'll see. The hardest thing is going to be moving the 180 here because it's filled with tropheus and shell dwellers, and then this tank here, it just got to come over about what 8 feet and back 2 feet, and I'm gonna have to. I don't know how I'm going to do that because there's a 180-gallon sump underneath of it, the 375-gallon. It's all completely planted. I mean, wish me luck on that one. I think I'm going to leave it as is. Maybe just take out the rocks to make it a little lighter. And just have nothing but a layer of plants on the base of the tank. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Oh, the other thing. I like this tank so much that I'm going to build a stand for it. And probably patch this, but build a stand for it and raise it up. And it'll look good. Everybody else is great, but I gotta go. See you in the next one.